It's the Center Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Yes! Yes! Yes, this is my favorite part of the game.
Analyzing all of the league matchups week to week.
You can't win!
Get him a body bag! Finish him!
It is a bit above average.
I said this sucks, and basically so do you.
And discussing the boom, bust, and hidden gem players throughout the league.
We ain't found shit!
What the hell is Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
Dan Marino should die of gonorrhea and rot in hell. Laces out.
Touchdown!
And here's your host,
Allow myself to introduce myself.
David Harbatkin. All right, hello and welcome to the Center Fantasy Football Podcast for Week 3 of Season 5. Joining us on the program today is the Commissioner, Mr. Gazelutsky. Say hello.
What up, what up?
And the coach of the Millennials at a concert of some kind, Mr. Brian Ralph.
What's up, losers?
And then we will be joined by Dr. Hockey, I'm assuming, at some point during this broadcast, but I guess we'll have to wait for that. As usual, he's a madman. And speaking of the madman, I was gonna start with his game, but I guess we might as well wait until he comes on to talk about it and his many failures. So let's start with the other game of the two people that are on this broadcast, the 1603ers. Versus the Millennials. 1603ers won 146.92 to 122.10. So it looks like I was wrong on my projection last week for this game, picking against myself. Oh darn. I feel so bad.
I told you, Dave. Where you going?
Yeah, I was wrong. Oh darn. It looks like a lot of the other advice for this game, which was don't play Jordan Howard, seemed to pan out as he only got 0.70 points in this game. That made a huge difference. The other real difference in this game, I think, really came down to the fact that Amari Cooper didn't... What?
That you played Kansas City Chiefs, and I don't have those people?
I mean, that has a lot to do with it, too. But, I mean, even with that, you still had a chance. The problem was that Carr went to Crabtree for all of his touchdowns instead of Amari Cooper. And had he gone to Cooper for those touchdowns against the Jets, this would have been a much more competitive game.
Fantasy gods are not on my side this week.
No, they were not. But Ty Montgomery with 29 points. Delaney Walker with 16. Randall Cobb got 13. I mean, Carr outplayed Roethlisberger. Thalian had a disappointing game with only 7.4 points, but of course Bradford was out. Hogan finally came through with 18.8. McCoy with a, disappointing 10. And then, of course, the Kansas City guys. 25 for Hunt and 24 for Kelsey. Jacques Rogers only got 12.7. 17 from the defense, which was dropped by Dr. Hockey the previous week and picked up by the 1603ers. And the points on the bench were really... Chris Thompson actually had a really good game with 25.6 points on the bench. But yeah, I still think that this game really basically came down to Crabtree getting all the touchdowns. Because what did Crabtree end up with in this game? He was on Nick's team. He ended up getting 32 points. So had those points, he had 6 targets, 6 receptions, 80 yards, and 3 TDs. So if that was on your side, an extra 30 points would have put the Millennials on top. But, that didn't happen. So, other thoughts on this game?
I hate Jordan Howard.
As well you should.
Yeah, we did kind of warn you about the whole Jordan Howard situation, by the way. You know what? I trust the guys that I draft. Sue me.
I mean, I'm not going to sue you. I'm just going to beat you.
Don't get off. Is Jordan Howard getting the start again? We'll have to see. We're breaking down the coach's tape right now.
There's not much to break down. I mean, you're going to look at all 7 yards rushing over and over again? Is that what's going to happen?
How dare you?
Man. Have to gloat a little.
Look, I'd also like to reassess your statement that the league is really easy. Quote unquote. Actually, no. I wouldn't. This league is top heavy. There's one good team, and that sucks. There's one good team. I think some other teams might be a little. I have something to say about that.
What's the one good team? Just, you know.
You had one lucky week. Relax.
I had one lucky week?
Oh, so now it's from good to lucky.
What?
Both of both.
I mean, I at least had 2 lucky weeks.
No, because you played the other teams that suck in this league last week. And this week, lucky.
How many points do I have total? 303, I think it is. Nobody. I think the next closest point total is 40-something points away. I mean, you're right. It's all luck.
It is.
Well, you know. Also, didn't my team have the biggest blowout of the week last week? It's luck. It's luck. You're right. It's all luck. And you were unlucky.
I was.
I am. You were unlucky to have such a great team scheduled against you early. All right, well, you know.
I swear it. I oath it.
Well, I guess there's nothing else to. I mean, that's what it boils down to is luck. I guess there's nothing else to really look into in this game then, because you know.
Well, you got any other analysis?
I don't really, actually. I mean, New England played New Orleans. That was good. You know, that helps. And Kansas City did pretty well against Philadelphia. And, yeah, Jordan Howard and Amari Cooper. That's really what this game came down to. So, all right, let's move on to... What?
Next week I'm going to have the highest total in the league.
All right, well, let's see. I don't know. Are you getting new players between now and then?
Don't worry about it.
Believe me, I'm not. All right, well, let's move on. What?
Mark this down in the podcast. Set the time because you're going to want to replay this. I will have the most points in the league next week.
Okay, it's marked. We will definitely note that you have predicted that you will have the most points in the league next week. Bold prediction from the Millennials.
I predict he'll be the best 1 and 2 team in the league. Well, you're terrible at predictions.
He was the one. He actually picked the game this week, so you know. But all right, let's move on to the next game. Let's go with, since we mentioned Nicky Baby's team, we'll move on to Nicky Baby versus the Lightning Rods. This was a game that looked to be in doubt for a while, especially with Aaron Rodgers playing not too well, but he picked up a bunch of garbage time touchdown or points and touchdowns, I think, against Atlanta, which put him over the edge to win the game 112 to 103 against the Lightning Rods. So his receiving core is atrocious, with Terrell Pryor and Deshaun Jackson with a combined 11 points. That's less than just Martavius Bryant. 8.9 points for Tyreek Hill. And interestingly, Des Bryant sat on the bench with 18.9 points as well for the Lightning Rods, which would have won the game for him. Yeah, I mean, he did put Gillisley at running back, which he got 12 points, but and then his tight end is Hooper, who's just not. I mean, he looked flashy with all of those points, but I mean they all came on 2 really long bombs the week before, and this week he really did nothing. Jay Ajayi finally played, got 14.6 points, and Terrence West with 12.5 points, which isn't bad. For Nicky Baby, I mean he has an okay running back core with Fournette getting 14 and 11 from Ingram, Jordan Reed with 10, and then Crabtree really got his 32 points, which is where this game was won, essentially. 0 points from his Jacksonville defense, who is going to be going against Baltimore this week in the London game, so he might want to do something at defense there. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I think this game really came down to Crabtree and some garbage time points for Aaron Rodgers. Any other thoughts on this game from you guys?
I gotta pull it up. Hold on. Go ahead, Commissioner. Is Cam Newton droppable?
I mean, he has the injury. I mean, I think Cam Newton's going to have a big game this week. He's playing New Orleans, so I think he rebounds. He said he was disgusted by his performance. I think Cam Newton has a good game this week. So, no, I don't think he's droppable.
And look for Tyreek Hill to have a bounce-back game next week as well.
So, yeah, I agree with that. And then if he plays Des Bryant, I mean, he actually has a good team. I mean, his one weak spot, well, I mean, his 2 weak spots are really Hooper at tight end, I think, and then Terrence West, who's okay. But other than that, I mean, he has a reasonably solid team. I mean, I think Nick lucked out here in this game. I don't think Crabtree's going to get that kind of production. I mean, he had Emmanuel Sanders on the bench with 24 points and Devontae Adams with 23 points. Even Derrick Henry got 15. And he sat the Denver defense, which is interesting. They got 13 points. So, I mean, I think Nick has had, he's got to look at this game and think that he escaped with one, really. Because he didn't play it well.
Yeah, and also Derrick Henry, you should probably start him from now on. He's going to be the number 1 in Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, would you play him over Ingram?
Well, I definitely play him. Probably.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because Tennessee's a run-oriented team.
And they're
I think he's going to get multiple touches.
And they're clearly not using DeMarco Murray much at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Geese, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I agree with the DeMarco Murray thing. He's basically he's struggling this season. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, he was a mid-carder to begin with, and he's having a slow start.
Anything else on any of these players? I mean, his wide receiving core, at least the ones that he's playing, I don't know what he's doing there. I mean,
it seems to be interesting.
I mean, he sat Devontae Adams and Emmanuel Sanders, who got all these points, and plays Deshaun Jackson and Terrell Pryor. So, I mean, I think he's got to make some adjustments.
Should we be worried about Deshaun Jackson?
Well?
Should we be worried about Deshaun Jackson?
I don't know. I actually thought Deshaun Jackson would be good this season, especially with... I mean, because he basically runs the same routes as Mike Evans and catches them. He just didn't this time. I think he dropped a couple in this game. I don't know how to feel about him. I don't know. We'll see. But I wouldn't play him this week, I don't think. I'd start to look at, elsewhere. I'd certainly look to Adams, playing Adams this week, if I were him, but I don't know. What's that?
They're playing the Cincinnati defense, right?
Yeah. The Packers are. So, yeah.
Well, we'll see what he does.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the next game. we have Black Ice Dynasty, the team that I called the worst team in history, ends up pulling out a win 119-88. For this game, I think the real big story is Jordy Nelson went down with the injury and didn't play and got 0 points. That hurt him tremendously. Sammy Watkins-Yayos only got 5 points. Matt Ryan actually didn't have that great a game with 16 points. Todd Gurley did have a great game. I was there to watch it in person. He was leaping over players left and right. So he's actually a really good player. Dalvin Cook, that whole Minnesota team just did not play well. I'm kind of curious to see how Minnesota does this week, because you had the first week where they played New Orleans, which doesn't even have a defense. And they ran up the score, and this time they played Pittsburgh, and it was a much different result. So I don't know. For Black Ice Dynasty, Melvin Gordon is solid, but other than that, AJ Green 11 points. That Cincinnati Bengals team is atrocious, as is T.Y. Hilton on Indianapolis. Ebron, he benefited, from getting the receiving touchdown and getting 15 points. Marquise Lee with only 14 points. I think that was mostly in garbage time anyway. I still don't think that this is a great team. But, he pulled out a win, and I think it was really, because of the Jordy Nelson injury. I think that things were looking a lot different before that. And I think that that's what you could chalk it up to, for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. Nelson going down, that was it. That was it for him.
Yeah. I don't know. Millennials, any thought?
Sorry, I'm not able to bring up the recap, so I can't really see what's going on.
There's nothing to really see.
Nothing to really recap. Don't worry.
Yeah. I think till it will bounce back next. Oh, I don't know who they're playing, but I think that I think if Nelson plays, he'll be a lot better. I just think that he got caught off guard this week with that, and that really hurts him. Although, impressive game from Black Ice Dynasty. 119, nothing to sneeze at. But still don't think he's that great. Maybe not the worst team in history. We'll get to the worst team in history if he ever calls.
That's rude.
But in the meantime, let's move to the next game, which has been renamed the special team. I don't know. Whalers. What was he? He was Sonny Weaver Jr. before. Now he's the special team. He should just go back to Whalers. He's also Nicky Baby should file a trademark infringement on him using Nicky Baby's helmet there. Anyway, so this game, Whalers drops to 1-1. The Blues are the only other 2-0 team. He said he was the best 1-0 team. I don't know if he's claiming to be the best 2-0 team, but in the meantime, he ended up with 132.34 to Whalers 96.44. Led by Mike Evans with 22 points, 24 from Devonta Freeman, 11 for Lamar Miller, 14 from Zach Ertz. And that's largely it. Drew Brees got 26 points. Demaryius Thomas with 13. Michael Thomas with 13. Carlos Hyde with 17 points. Crowell with a pathetic 3.7. And Greg Olsen, who is now injured. And he's on IR now. Got 2 points. And Ezekiel Elliott, as we were discussing before the broadcast, 6.2 points, and he was not happy. So, Whalers might be in a little bit of trouble here, especially with the Greg Olsen injury. And Lombardi, he's doing all right. Keenan Allen actually got 19 points also until he lacerates another part of his body. So, good performance by him and bad performance by Whalers. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's much else to talk about this game. Well, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I think you pretty much covered mostly all of it. It was just an all-around.
Yeah, I don't even see anything.
Zeke Elliott didn't have that good of a game at all. That's probably where things went awry. Denver really shut down the Dallas Cowboys running game. So he should have no points. He should be suspended. I keep going back to that. I don't know why I have to keep saying that. I don't know why he's even playing, but why should he be suspended? I don't understand. Exactly. It just says suspension. Why does he have to not play?
I think he means not based on like whatever he did or whatever else, just the fact that he was suspended. So why is he not suspended? Because Texas judges are overturning it. Nothing to get into the actual.
We can get into that. It was actually a Louisiana judge, I think, the Fifth Circuit.
Is he a Cowboys fan?
No, the judge is based in Louisiana.
Is he a Saints fan?
I mean, aren't half of the Louisiana fans Saints fans, and the other half Cowboy fans?
I think he's from the Cowboy fan side, to be honest with you.
All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah, that's enough of that game. Who cares? All right, and then Nick and Jamie played Dave's Secret Crush. Nick and Jamie just blew him out. As the Yahoo recap says, Nick and Jamie pounds Dave's Secret Crush, which I find hilarious. Headline makes early season statement. This game was largely Tom Brady getting 36.78 points against New Orleans and Gronkowski getting 23.60 points. He even got performance. I mean, Antonio Brown only got 11 points, but Alshon Jeffrey with 22, and then 30.40 points from C.J. Anderson. Sproles with only 7.8.
That's the game of a lifetime.
I know. These are wildly. They're not inflated numbers, but they're good. I mean, he just got. I think everything came together for him in this game. And Dave's Secret Crush, just nothing happened there. Russell Wilson with 17 points. Brandon Cooks only got 6.3 points against New Orleans. DeAndre Hopkins is still, he's been a solid performer, getting 14, 1.3 from Bilal Powell in a pathetic game versus Oakland. The guy that he picked up for $55, Cohen in Chicago, got only 12.8. Jimmy Graham with a 1.10 points and Doug Baldwin with 10 points. I mean, Dave's Secret Crush is in trouble here. I mean, he does have a little buffer there at the bottom with Dr. Hockey holding him up. But, yeah, that team does not look too good. Only getting 75 points this week. Yeah. I don't know. Thoughts?
Well, let's just stay here. This was, pretty self-explanatory.
I mean, Dave. Not only that, but Dave's Secret Crush has two players that are suspended on his bench. He got he had a total of 18 points of production on his bench. I mean, there's not even people to put in. It's just bad. It's all kinds of bad over there. Whereas Nick and Jamie looks to be going in the other direction, really with an impressive win. I mean, if their three guys perform, Tom Brady and Antonio Brown and Gronk, they were forced to be reckoned with. And then you add in these other performances from people like Alshon Jeffrey and C.J. Anderson. I mean, that's a good team.
They're okay.
They're no millennials.
Well, they're no millennials, of course.
No.
Thank you for noticing.
Though they do have the same record as the millennials.
Is it too early to worry about Brandon Cooks in that New England offense?
I don't know what. I mean, maybe because everybody's injured there. And he's still not getting the ball. That's something to be concerned about.
You know how it goes with New England. If you don't get the ball early, they just kind of shut you down.
Yeah. And it's again, yeah. And it's New Orleans. If you can't perform against New Orleans and everybody's injured, you're kind of the odd man out, I would think.
I would be concerned.
I would too. Although there's so many things to be concerned about on this roster, I don't even know where to start. I mean, Bilal Powell is your RB1.
Well, maybe he's tanking for this season.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, we've delayed as long as we can. This 15 minutes has been much longer than a human 15 minutes. But I guess we've come to the point where we have to discuss House Targaryen versus the Hackettstown Hagglers. The Hagglers get off the schneid with a 94.98 to 77.36 victory.
Can I point out something before we start?
Absolutely.
Dave's secret crush had a terrible game, got beat by like 70,000 points, and got a D for their grade with Yahoo. House Targaryen managed to get an F. Did he? He got an F. He got an F.
Well, I think his whole team is just an F. It's just I don't know what's good. I mean, there's so much bad going on here. I don't even know where to dissect it. I mean, you can start on the bench. The bench, he has how many quarterbacks is he carrying? He's carrying 3 quarterbacks, 2 defenses, 3 tight ends. He literally doesn't have any players. He has no receiver. He has no backup receivers, no backup running backs. Nobody.
I think the best thing about this game is, as a New York Giants diehard fan, he drafts Evan Ingram and then promptly sits him for the only game he actually does anything for.
I know. And had he played him, because he got 14 points. What is that? Well, so who did he put in tight end? He put Clay in at tight end, so 5.
Yeah, not enough.
Yeah, not enough.
But I mean, he had other guys on his bench that maybe could have edged him closer.
I mean, if he would have played Wentz at quarterback.
Like if he played Wentz, and then if he played 2 tight ends, and one at flex, he would have won.
Sure, but he has nobody to even put anywhere. I mean, it's so ridiculous. This team is so ridiculous. Like, I don't even...
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And it's kind of unfortunate that he has DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, I mean, he's got DeMarco...
That's going to get worse, not better.
Exactly. It's going to get worse there. And then he has no backup running backs either. He's got Marshawn Lynch, who he got a touchdown, but ended up with only 11.9 points. And that's with a touchdown. So, Golden Tate with only 6 points. Sterling Shepard with 5 points. Julio Jones, his superstar, gets 15 points, but he was basically shut down in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Goff, who's, I guess...
How is this not a rule already?
What?
If you have a team, if you have a Detroit Lions and they're not playing in their dome, you do not play them. I thought we all knew that.
Well, clearly he doesn't. Plus, he has nobody else to put in. Who is he going to put in? I don't know. This team is a dumpster fire. And rather than improving it, he's picking up more quarterbacks. Just insanity. On the other side of the ball, you have the Hackettstown Hagglers. They were sub 100 points, but they still got the win, which is really important, especially at this early stage in the season, and especially with this really
especially coming off an embarrassing loss in week 1.
True, and having Tyler Eifert start out the week pretty porously with only 7.2 points. But he has some people on the bench. He also, Stan Bradford was his quarterback, who was injured and didn't play. He didn't play Witten, so there's some points there. Coleman got 12. Chris Carson might start to emerge as somebody. I mean, he ended up with 93 rushing yards, and 11 points. That's without even a touchdown. And he made.
By the way,
what?
You've got to start Alan Hearns. Alan Hearns is a scary proposition for the first 3 quarters. But when Jacksonville's down 22 in the 4th quarter with 12 minutes left, that's where that man shines. in garbage time.
Yeah, but what does that mean to you? Points are points.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather have an embarrassing loss in week 1 than an embarrassing loss in week 2.
Why? Why is that?
It's your last game that's your most important.
What have you done for me lately? I don't know. I'd rather just win. But anyway.
Keep starting Carson Palmer. It'll work out for you.
Well, I think I can tell you that he doesn't want to start Carson Palmer. He's been desperately searching through the garbage. What?
Now?
Well, you have a trade pending to get Alex Smith, the league's best quarterback.
The league's best quarterback?
Yeah, you can get him for the low price of Livy.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. I'm laughing as I say this because I already proposed the trade.
Oh, excellent. Take your time.
I'm sure that the Hagler upper management will take that into serious consideration.
Yeah, we'll give that its due notice.
I mean, by all means, propose a counter offer and we can get the ball rolling.
Which will be promptly laughed at by the millennial head coach.
I mean, don't come with Drek.
Does he have any options to not? Well, I mean...
No, that's why I laughed and added Le'Veon Bell because there's nobody else.
I mean, he could trade you Carson Palmer.
I don't need a quarterback in exchange. I want depth.
I don't know if there is any. Well, I mean, there might. I mean, I don't know. Well, Cooper Kupp had a disappointing game. Macklin ended up with 13 points, but a lot of that is on the touchdown. Jonathan Stewart not doing well and might be finally losing points to McCaffrey. Le'Veon Bell with only 13 points.
To be fair, Jeremy Macklin might actually be a decent play, if only because Baltimore will be playing Cleveland and Cincinnati at least 3 more times.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. It's not a good play this week, I don't know.
And don't they play like a third to last place schedule or something?
Well, they're playing Baltimore
They're
this week.
play No, they are Baltimore. I'm saying, but weren't they in place last week?
Yeah, Indy. No, it's not Indy.
They play a shitty schedule at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Jacksonville? I don't know. Whatever. So, Geese, your thoughts on your team this week and your win? Javon Curse was a smart play.
Very disappointed in the Rams defense. They were atrocious. They can't stop the run to save their lives. Actually, the guy who bailed us out was Jermaine Kearse. His quarterback is dicey, to say the least. Tyler Eifert's gone. He's never playing again. He's got a permanent spot on the bench. Jonathan Stewart will be joining him on the bench. It's a two-seater now. So, but we have other. We can make plenty of room on the bench if somebody else on the bench wants. Right now it's a two-seater. So wherever we go, road or home, Tyler Eifert and Jonathan Stewart sit together at the end on the bench.
It's
what
like
Galladay. That's about it.
It's a love seat.
There's not room
Carson
for Galladay.
Palmer will probably be joining them on the bench, but he's not even going to be on the team. So it's a little bit
He got 18 points this game. He's your second highest scorer.
The nanosecond anybody becomes remotely available with any skill, Carson Palmer is out there.
Don't slander the good name of Carson Palmer.
Well, the only reason I kept him is because he plays on Monday night, so I'm waiting until the last nanosecond to play the I mean, the only fool that I can wait and wait and wait.
I have a bold suggestion. If the answer to any of your fantasy questions is Sam Bradford, you have bigger problem.
Well, I mean, he's really, really like in Minnesota in week 1. Anything outside of that, he's suspect.
But he did play New Orleans. That might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to knock off the New Orleans tax when he plays good teams, professional teams.
To quote yourself back to you, my cat could score that many points against New Orleans.
A team of me and Dave at the skill position can get Sam Bradford 20 points against New Orleans.
Exactly. So we'll see how Bradford does against, a team that has a defense.
Do you guys do any breakdown on actual team defenses, or do you guys just kind of play random players?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, for example, I would have started Jason Witten because for all their strengths, Denver is actually terrible at defending the pass against tight ends.
Yeah.
And they released their safety right before the season started, which is the position that usually takes up the tight end. So I actually would have played him because they're poor at that. Something to think about when you're setting your lineup.
Oh, I definitely do that kind of stuff. And I know Guy's definitely, although this week I guess he didn't, but in general, I know you do. You're always thinking about that kind of stuff. You're always thinking about the slot receivers that are going to get stuff. Guy spends hours thinking about his lineup, but also you have to realize this was a week that he was playing Dr. Hockey, and the two of them went into a mad frenzy over just trying to one-up one another, to the point that Dr. Hockey came out here to intimidate Geese and watch a Rams game. So you have to understand the mental mind games that were going on all week. I think maybe now that you will have a non-Dr. Hockey team this week, you can get back to a semblance of normalcy.
Or maybe just continue to suck. Possibly, yeah. Dr. Hockey does take things to the ridiculous extreme.
But you.
It's not ridiculous like celebrating scoring 94 points in a week, even though you won. Nothing ridiculous like that. Win's a win. 94 points is a predictor of future success, or, in your case, failure. You're an interesting trash talk angle. All right, I'm all out.
All right.
I'm fresh out of trash. Move on.
All right, well, let's look at the standings before we get into next week's games and the predictions there. So, at the top of the league, at 2-0 are the 1603ers and the St. Louis Blues. 300.
How do you find those things?
Well, you go to the overview on the thing.
Overview?
Overview.
Oh, overview.
Yeah. 303 points for the 1603ers, more than whatever point, and only 227 against. The Blues have 244 points, which is not even the second most points in the league, but they only had 173 points scored against them. Nick and Jamie, which I think, they're 1-1, they're pretty. I still think they're in a good position, and then the Millennials in fourth place with 233 points. But they had 242 scored against them, mostly by me.
Are you done?
Sure.
Okay.
And then a bunch of other teams in the 1-1 logjam, followed by...
What's 10th place like, Kamish? I wouldn't know all the way up here. In the playoff. In playoff position in week 2? I don't know if there is such a thing. Not for you. You're in 10th place. I understand. Well, you're in great shape to win the 2-game championship. And I'll win every weekly championship after this.
Well, you're going to get the most points next week. I've marked it down already.
I know. You did do that.
I did, yeah. And then, of course, at the bottom, we have House Targaryen, which only 156 points in 2 weeks, which, if you want to just know how bad that is, my team scored 156 points in the first week. So I literally have more points in week 1 than he did in the entire 2 weeks that he's played. Nick and Jamie outplayed that. They had 163 points last week, which was more than House Targaryen has in 2 weeks. Yeah, he's pretty bad.
You get it. Your team is good. We get it.
And Dave's Secret Crush down there, too, so they'll be competing for the bottom. All right, well, let's look at next week's games. All right, Mr. Millennial, let's see who you're playing. Dave's Secret Crush. This is going to be the game where you're going to win, where you're going to get the highest score in the league. Let's see how you're going to do it. You're going to... What?
You think I can win even if I sit my quarterback?
Even if you what your quarterback?
Sit my quarterback?
No.
Pretty sure I will.
I mean, right now the prediction is 121 to 123.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but you do have Derek Carr.
Yeah, I'm not going to lose the likes of this guy. Dave's Secret Crush. Come on.
Well, you do have the Raiders coming back east for a game, and sometimes the West Coast teams going back east don't always play that well. But okay.
Yeah, but only at the 10 o'clock window.
Yeah.
If it's late afternoon, it's...
That is true. It is.
The game isn't 5.
Yeah, that is true. And you have them going against Washington. So I actually think Derek Carr and Amari Cooper will have a good game. You have Kelvin Benjamin going against New Orleans, which that should be a good matchup right there.
I'm really worried about Kelvin Benjamin. They scored 9 points last week.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's not his fantasy points. That's how much the team scored.
Yeah, but they played Buffalo. I mean, like, look, I'll put it this way: if they don't score points this week, then yes, you have to be seriously concerned if they can't score against New Orleans. And then also Ty Montgomery. What?
I'm a little worried about Delaney Walker playing against Seattle.
Yeah, that might be tough to. They've been low-scoring games, very much so there. You should be happy about Ty Montgomery playing versus Cincinnati because they are a dog shit team.
Yeah, but their defense is actually okay. Like, even if you look back at the first week, a lot of their real life points given up were because of Andy Dalton throwing 5 million interceptions.
Well, it wasn't Andy Dalton's fault that they gave up a 51-yard rushing touchdown to the other Watson, the all Watson Yayas team quarterback.
Well, yeah, but at the same, I mean, like, that's one plot point. But my point just is they give up like 12 points in the second game. They gave up 20 in the first game, but it was mostly short field.
True.
It was 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Like, it's not terrible.
It was also
short field.
It was also Houston.
So, in other words, their defense isn't that bad, is what I'm trying to say.
No, but I mean,
They have a good front line too.
Yeah, but yes, I would agree with that. But still, I still think that Montgomery has a good game against Cincinnati. I mean, come on, they're going to be running the ball all the second half, killing the clock after they're blowing Andy Dalton out.
Hey, have some respect. It's Andy Dalton's last game as a professional quarterback.
He's a professional? When did that happen?
Well, it'll end this weekend.
You think Randall Cobb gets a lot of points, being that it's going to be a short field?
They have good cover corners, so I'm not sure. It depends on the scheme.
Also depends on Nelson if he plays.
That's true. Especially if he's hobbled, it'll be more touches for Randall Cobb.
Yeah, that's true. All right, for Dave's Secret Crush, what do they have? They have Russell Wilson going at Tennessee. He could have a good game. Brandon Cooks going against Houston. I still don't think that he does that well there.
I think that's a surprisingly high projection.
I do too. Yeah, I don't know.
Just based on his play in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And Houston's defense, while not great, it's not abysmal either. Like, it's not New Orleans today.
Yeah. I think that it's way high for a projection. DeAndre Hopkins, I think that's about where he'll get, even against New England, because he's the only guy that they're throwing to, and he catches it.
Yeah, this would also be the week to start to play your Detroit players.
They are. Yeah.
Well, they're playing in a dome against Atlanta, which means they'll be down by 1 million points, which means they'll be throwing a lot.
Absolutely. So he's playing Abdullah. So yeah, he should get some points. Cohen definitely has an advantage over Howard, I would think, this week. Are you doing anything about that right now?
All coaching decisions will be made after Friday's practice.
Okay, because right now I think that is I think that's about 11.02 points higher for Howard than his projection. Well, maybe 10.32 points higher than Howard will actually get. Fleener against Carolina. I mean, most of Fleener's points have been on the on touchdowns, so I don't know if he gets them here. And Doug
Baldwin production is really high too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Tennessee defense is something to write home about, but Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin score points.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to pick the Millennials here. However, I'm going to put a note on this that something needs to be done at the RB1 position in order for that projection to come out. Because you have R. Kelly in the closet, who's injured. Rawls, who's not really the number one guy there anymore. So I'm going to predict the Millennials, but like I said, you need to figure out something at your at your RB1 if you intend to win this game. But I think that you should. Otherwise,
I don't think it'll actually matter this week, but I do think that you're correct, and there should be some concern about running back position further down in the league.
And Geese, your thoughts about this game?
Well, yeah, Eugene hasn't really showed much this season so far in 2 games, so he's really going to have to tighten things up. I'll take the Millennials in this one.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wow, we're unanimous on one for once. All right, well...
I'm glad to have the commissioner back on the bandwagon. Thank you.
Not necessarily in the
There is room.
You're just looking at Eugene.
No, shut up. You're back in the wagon.
All right, well, let's see if that's reciprocated by looking at the Hackettstown Hagglers versus the Black Ice Dynasty game. So, right now, we have the Hagglers... As you've denoted, you're starting Carson Palmer, but you're hoping for Sam Bradford. But even Carson Palmer on Monday night might not be atrocious. You do have Cooper Kupp going against San Francisco.
What matchup are we doing?
Hackettstown Hagglers versus the Black Ice Dynasty.
Oh, by the way, I'm voting for myself to win.
That's good.
I don't think we got that one down.
That worked out well for you last week, too.
I mean, you win some, you lose some, but I mostly win, so it's fine.
Well, I mean, 500, 50-50.
I mean, let's move on.
So, Cooper Kupp going against San Francisco. I watched that game. I mean, Cooper Kupp is fine, but they just hand the ball off all the time. So I don't know how many receptions he's going to get.
They're playing San Francisco.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. You start them.
Yeah. Sanu going at Detroit, I think that's a smart play because Detroit...
Actually, I think you should start Jeremy Macklin, but whatever. Go on.
They're playing the London game, though.
Yeah, but they're playing Jacksonville.
Yeah. I don't know.
A.K.A. hot garbage.
Yeah. Tevin Coleman is your starting running back. I think that's fine. Even as the backup, he still gets a lot of touches, and he gets receptions in the PPR. Le'Veon Bell at Chicago, I think that's a smart play. Witten at Arizona, I think is good. Curse versus...
You can have Le'Veon Bell, because he's going to be starting Alex Smith this week after he makes the trade, so...
Well, I'm just going based on what I see now. Well, I can't... And then...
Tell him to hurry up and approve the trade already. Come on. What are you waiting for? Who says no?
Yeah, we're giving it its due.
And then Curse versus Miami for the Jets. Although we'll see if he has the same kind of.
Pretty good.
Hmm.
Miami's defense is pretty good.
And the Jets are pretty bad, but this is the only guy that they throw to. So, I mean, that's really the calculation he's making there. For Black Ice Dynasty, Jameis Winston at Minnesota. I think that's not really a great matchup. AJ Green at Green Bay. Still doesn't have a quarterback throwing to him. He has Andy Dalton throwing to him. But he'll still get about 11 points, probably. T.Y. Hilton versus Cleveland. Cleveland.
Green Bay's defense is Swiss cheese.
Against Atlanta, not against Cincinnati.
Yeah, they can't block anyone.
Yeah. T.Y. Hilton versus Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland is not good, but neither is Indianapolis, and I don't think T.Y. Hilton gets any. I mean, maybe he gets a lucky touchdown here and there, but I just don't see that much point production out of him. Melvin Gordon is actually legitimate, although he is playing Kansas City, but I still think he'll get a decent score. McCaffrey against New Orleans, I think.
Have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think T.Y. Hilton will get more points than minutes you spend watching this game?
Yes, because I think he'll get 1 point.
That's all.
Yeah.
What a poop fest of a game that's going to be.
Oh yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah.
I'll definitely start Ebron. That's probably going to be a good move.
Yeah, he is starting Ebron. And McCaffrey against New Orleans is actually a good start, too. And then Marquise Lee against Baltimore I don't think is a smart play. He might adjust that. Let's see who he's got on his bench. I mean, Tyrell Williams against Kansas City.
Tyrell Williams. Kansas City's defense is good, especially in the cornerback position.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Baltimore's defense is good, but that doesn't mean they're going to be able to not allow receivers to make catches.
Yeah.
Just go with the better player.
I guess. I don't know. So let's see.
Would you start Eli Manning or Jameis Winston? Matchups included.
I might start Eli Manning because the Giants and Eagles, they tend to hate each other, and there's and end up having good games. Although
throw out the record book when these rivals get together.
Yeah. Although Philadelphia oftentimes shuts down the Giants in Philadelphia. I don't know. Minnesota's a good defense though. I don't.
Yeah.
I might start Eli Manning, but I don't know. I think I would.
Maybe the commissioner doesn't want to comment on this. Necessarily.
Well?
Nah, I just think we'll wait till after. Just let that ride.
All right. So, I'm guessing you're picking yourself?
I'm picking myself, of course.
And,
I'm picking Black Ice Dynasty. 100%.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Commissioner's taking a huge L. Yeah, that's what you get. It's fascinating. No faith. Unless he starts Alex Smith. Then he's going to win.
I'm going to predict that the Hagglers win if they don't start Alex Smith. Because that will mean that Le'Veon Bell is not on their team.
Have
Which
you seen the projection?
What?
Have you seen the projection?
For Alex Smith?
No, for the matchup itself.
I have, but I think that you get 13 points for T.Y. Hilton, so subtract that right there, and then they're even.
Subtract it all the way, like 0 points for T.Y. Hilton.
He might get a point.
He have more points than minutes scored, so it's at least one.
So he might get a point there, but I mean, come on. I think Tevin Coleman gets no more than 9.33 in a shootout with Detroit.
Yeah. Detroit in a dome against Atlanta could be really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I think the Hagglers pull out this game slightly. I don't think it's a.
Go ahead.
I think it's a close game again, but I think the Hagglers pull it out slightly, and I think that the difference is that AJ Green is not going to get 18 points, And T.Y. Hilton is not going to get 13 or any, maybe 1 or 2. So I think that is the difference, and I think that's why the Hagglers pull this game out. Slightly.
I mean, I disagree. I'm all the way off the Hackettstown Haggler bandwagon.
Were you on it ever?
I don't think you were ever on it. I mean, I was 1 foot on, 1 foot off. But now that you've denigrated my my team, you can go screw them with that. It is the best 1-1 team in the league. I did say that. You should rename your team 10th place.
I think your team name as Millennials is still appropriate. All right, moving on to the next game.
What's that supposed to mean?
I think it is interpretive. Interpret it however you'd like. YOLO. All right, Nick and Jamie.
Innovator.
Nick and Jamie versus the St. Louis Blues. This is actually a really good game. So you have Nick and Jamie coming off the huge win last week, and you have the St. Louis Blues 2-0. This is a really.
Didn't I beat Nick and Jamie last week?
What's that?
Didn't I beat Nick and Jamie in the first week?
I think you did, actually, right? Was that who you played?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, but that was also the week that, I mean, look, they're hugely reliant on New England, and New England sucked that first week, but I don't think that they're going to suck against Houston, and I don't think Antonio Brown is going to suck against Chicago.
Okay, let's start with Nick and Jamie's team.
Okay. I mean, Nick and Jamie come down to, I mean, is Gronk going to play? I think he's going to play, right? Even though he has the groin injury.
You think Jared Sproles is going to score 12 points?
No. I do not.
Okay.
But I don't think. No, I don't. CJ Anderson probably will get 12.
Except Antonio Brown's going to get 1 million points. So.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, they're gonna get about all their points from Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, and Gronk, and everybody else is gonna be hot garbage. I mean, CJ Anderson might get his 12, but
Rashawn Matthews, Alshon Jeffrey, and Jared Sproles are going to get lower than their average.
Yes.
So I think it's actually be a close matchup.
Yes. And Antonio Brown is going to be... it's going to be obscene.
Would you start Phil Dorsett?
No.
Probably not. Or Rashawn Matthews as a flex.
No. I mean, they don't have any backups.
I think Rashawn Matthews is going to get 0 points.
Yeah.
Not 0, but
yeah. He's going to get...
I think actually it depends on whether or not Richard Sherman does.
Yeah.
That's one to look at. Because the weird thing about Seattle's defense is that they don't have any depth. Like when their quarterbacks go out, they're bad. They're not good.
Yeah.
So.
But it's low-scoring games. I don't think he's going to get into the end zone.
Sure. Why? Phil Dorsett.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Their team doesn't matter other than Gronk, Brady, and what Antonio Brown does. That's it. Don't even bother.
Antonio Brown's going to get 35 for them to win.
They could literally... They could bench. They should just bench the rest of their team and just go with the 3-man roster because that's all that matters.
I disagree, but okay.
I mean, C.J. Anderson.
I have strong opinions about St. Louis Blues that far. I think when we get to them, Devonta Freeman will get 30 points.
Yeah, Devonta Freeman is going to get a lot of points. Phillip Rivers, I don't think he's going to do that great. Keenan Allen, I don't know. Mike Evans at Minnesota, he might be shut down a little bit. But yes, Devonta Freeman is going to get a lot of points. I don't think Ertz gets that many points. I don't think Miller gets that many points. Teddy Ginn against Carolina, I don't think gets that many. I think that Nick and Jamie win this game.
I have to agree. We're doing the analysis right now. We're not going to check out the bench for St. Louis Blues. I think they should try to get Theo Riddick in the starting lineup.
They should. I mean,
if theoretic gets off and Delonte Sigmund gets off, I think they'll actually win.
they could.
But I mean, it depends if they play them. Because I think with their projected, they're already projected to win by. Oh, it's only projected to lose, huh?
Yeah.
St. Louis lose. Yeah, I think it's gonna be closer than that, but I actually think Nick and Jay are probably gonna pull it out.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it's a close game. I think it's a good game, but I think Nick and Jamie win it.
Philip Rivers or Tyrod Taylor?
Philip Rivers. There's no
Denver.
Tyrod Taylor's playing against Denver. No. Philip Rivers.
I don't know.
Really?
Okay.
Who are their wide receivers?
Who cares? Who cares? He's gonna get a lot of garbage time points.
He's like throwing to the band. Like there's nobody to throw to. They've sold off their whole team.
All right. Next game.
All right. So then we have this, I guess, the now special team versus Tillett Trey team. Right now it's a 133 to 130 projection in favor of Tillett Trey team. A lot of this comes down to whether or not Jordy Nelson plays. He has the quad injury, but he's expected to play against the Bengals. Matt Ryan at Detroit. I think that he gets a lot of points in that game in that shootout. But then,
I think he gets 30 plus.
But then, you know, the special team has Drew Brees going at Carolina.
You ever see Drew Brees play outside of a dome?
Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
It's not stellar.
Yeah. So then Jordy Nelson.
Playing Isaiah Crowell, so that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good at all. But Carlos Hyde against the Rams' Swiss cheese run defense.
Is Aaron Donald going to play?
Is who?
Aaron Donald going to play for the Rams?
I don't know.
Because they deal with their run defense is immediately better.
I mean, everybody was injured in that game also, by the way. Like, the Rams' defense is in trouble. Michael Thomas at Carolina also, so he's got Drew Brees throwing to Michael Thomas. I still don't think he gets that much. Demaryius Thomas at Buffalo. I don't think he gets many points there.
Yeah, me either. And that, I think, is the West Coast going east for a 10 o'clock Sunday game.
Yeah. And then, Crowell's going to get nothing. So I think Doyle versus Cleveland might get some points. And Ezekiel Elliott at Arizona, we'll see if he gets the points back. For Tillett, I mean, if Jordy Nelson plays, I think he'll do all right. Landry at the Jets, I think he does fine there. Todd Gurley is going to get a massive amount of points against San Francisco. Dalvin Cook versus Tampa Bay, he'll do okay. I don't, whatever. Bennett.
San Francisco's run defense is surprisingly not terrible.
Yeah, but Gurley is actually pretty good, and that's the only person that they're going to throw to other than Goff. So, I mean, I think that they're just going to run the ball a lot. I think Gurley will do well, especially on a short week. And then Bennett versus Cincinnati. What has Bennett done at all? Has he done anything? 9 points and 7 points. Yeah, he's going to do the same. He's going to get nothing. And then right now he's got Parker in there, so he's got both Miami wide receivers in there. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Although, yeah. I mean, I am going to say that Tillett is going to win this because the Whalers' best player this week looks to be Carlos Hyde. And I don't think that is a good predictor of a win.
I think the matchup comes down to Matt Ryan is going to outscore Drew Brees by 15 points.
Yeah. All right.
Drew Brees comes in at like 16, 17, 18, and Matt Ryan goes for like 32.
I agree.
I don't think that'll be a difference.
Yeah, I agree. Geese?
I have to agree with that too.
All right.
Unanimous.
Yeah, well, look at this. Very unanimous on this. All right, looks like Dr. Hockey's not going to be here, so we can go with his game. So it's Nicky Baby versus Dr. Hockey. I'm going to predict Nicky Baby right now before I even look at this, but well, let's look at this.
So in matchups like these, the prediction doesn't include a quarterback since
yeah.
Owen doesn't actually have a quarterback yet. So it's actually going to be kind of closer in the projection.
Sure.
I would say if you're projected to lose by like 30 points or like 15 when your quarterback is put in, I think you should go with high upside players. Boomer bust kind of thing.
Sure. I mean, but he has like 3 quarterbacks. I don't even know which quarterback. Which quarterback would you play? Would you play Simeon?
Oh, you absolutely start Kirk Cousins. Like it's not even close.
Really?
Oakland's defense is trash, and Carson Wentz plays the Jets, and Simeon plays Buffalo. You play Kirk Cousins, and you don't even think about it.
Okay. All right. I think Julio Jones gets some points. What?
Who did Oakland play last week?
Yeah. What?
Who did Oakland play last week? The Jets? The Jets.
Yeah.
Didn't the Jets have a lot of fantasy points?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. I would start. You like that?
Why not? He has plenty of options at QB, nowhere else. I mean, this is basically going to be the lineup.
With that projection, he's only down 10 points. So.
Sure, Julio.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Can Golden Tate get you 22 instead of 16? Maybe.
Yeah, but then Marshawn Lynch and DeMarco Murray, that's going to be a drag, as is Clay and Shepard.
DeMarco Murray's going to be a problem. I would, even though I said last week that Denver's defense is bad against tight ends, you might want to start making Ingram. Or at least consider it.
I mean, he could play, he could play Ingram. I think that's not a bad play. I mean, but those are the only places that...
He can play James. That's when Chicago's kept.
He should play James and Ingram.
Instead of Sterling Shepard?
Yeah.
Yeah? Maybe.
And sit Clay, and then just,
I would actually probably start Jamison Crowder and just go for Washington scoring 25 points in real life.
Yeah.
It's a high-scoring shootout.
Yeah, that's a possibility, too.
I mean, he has to take a lot of risks, so you might as well double down on Washington and hope,
yeah.
They score a bunch of goals.
Yeah, that's not, he won't do it because he's a lunatic, and he'll probably put in the worst possible lineup he can, but yeah. For Nicky Baby,
knowing his luck, Jamison Crowder will score 0 points, and Terrell Pryor will get 25.
Exactly. And Terrell Pryor on the other side is Nicky Baby's right now starting wide receiver, and then Deshaun Jackson at Minnesota. I think he's going to. Yeah, and Jordan. And he was injured. Is he going to play? I haven't read the reports.
He's questionable.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, I think, will do fine against Cincinnati. Fournette against Baltimore. Ingram against Carolina. Crabtree against Washington. I think that Amari Cooper is going to get the touches this week instead of Crabtree, but we'll see.
Derek Carr and Amari Cooper were roommates in preseason. I'm guessing he's going to want to make up for the fact that he gave all his points to Crabtree last week.
Exactly. And I think that he should play Devontae Adams instead of Deshaun Jackson. And I think that Nick could win this game. And I think that he...
And for heaven's sake, play Denver's defense over Jackson.
Yes, absolutely. And if he does those things...
You should probably get Devontae Adams in there instead of Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, I agree. So...
Would you rather have Devontae Adams or Emmanuel Sanders?
In this game, I would rather have Devontae Adams.
Because they play Cincy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be fair.
Geese?
Well, I think hockey should leave his team the way it is with no starting quarterback. I think we should try to move it next. And just view Bill Belichick. You have 3 quarterbacks to choose from, start none. It will really shake things up and catch Nick off guard. And maybe Nick will sit Aaron Rodgers because he thinks it's sort of a league-wide rule. Sportsmanship, right, exactly. Yeah. Maybe the league should start sitting everybody and start playing one-on-one, bro.
Pick your best.
Pick your best player.
Yeah, pick your best guy.
How funny would it be, the quarterback, bro? How funny would it be if we did that one week? Like, just for your own matchup, you just have a gentleman's bet. Yeah, have a gentleman's bet, and you just go, look, we're gonna go one-on-one. Let's do this. Everyone, it's just one player.
I mean, who would be the one in this game? Who would you pick?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
And who would you pick for Targaryen?
Kirk Cousins. Julio Jones?
Julio Jones? Yeah,
Maybe
I think.
Julio Jones?
Yeah.
But I mean, against the quarterback, you might just take the gamble and start Kirk Cousins if you're going one-on-one. Because again, if Kirk Cousins goes off, it'll be more points.
Yeah. But I still think, even whether or not they played full teams or one-on-one, I still think Nicky Baby wins this game.
And of course, I would totally be the guy that would start my whole team.
Oh, I know. If I ever made that gentleman...
At 9:45, I just start putting all my players in.
Trust me, if I made that agreement with you, I would be sitting there watching that until 9:59.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No idea. All right, so I'm going with Nicky Baby. Anybody gonna take their gamble on House Targaryen?
Nah, not this week. Can I say that if he starts all his Washington players, that I'll pick him?
Sure.
For the upset?
Sure.
Contingent on that, though. It doesn't count unless he actually plays them.
Okay. All right. Noted.
But bold prediction.
All right. Well, we have two notes right now. We have you're going to score the highest score in the league next week, and if House Targaryen plays all of the Washington players, he'll win. We'll see how these pan out next week.
Perfect.
All right, let's move to the last game of the week, which is the 1603ers versus the Lightning Rods. Right now, the 03ers are favored 131 to 115. So, Stafford versus Atlanta. I think there's a lot of points to be gotten there. I mean, this is actually a difficult. This is still remains a difficult choice because you have Roethlisberger against the Bears, and you have Stafford versus Atlanta. I still am going with Stafford only because I think it will be a shootout, and I mean, Roethlisberger is not as good on the road, and I think that they're going to get such a lead that they're just going to start handing the ball off to Le'Veon Bell. So I've decided to go with Stafford instead. In the dome.
I would probably start LaShawn McCoy in the flex over Higgins.
He's playing Denver.
He's LaShawn McCoy.
I should say this. So I have not decided on my flex player at this point. He's just holding it. I'm also trying to wait to see if Amendola is going to get cleared. I'm waiting to figure out with Hogan. And I haven't decided if maybe... What?
How are you not starting Chris Thompson?
I'm considering that too. But I mean, there was something I read. There was something about Gruden saying like, well, I don't really, he's too, what was the quote? It was like scary. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, he's not the biggest guy in the world. We don't want to get him 20 to 25 carries a game and get a lot of pounding on that body. So we'll try to expand his role a little bit, but we don't want to go too crazy with him. What?
Oakland's defense sucks.
I know. I mean, I'll probably end up playing him. Noted on the Higgins thing. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to start him. But other than that, I mean,
Hogan or Thompson?
Hogan or Thompson?
Yeah, if you have to make the choice, if you're going to bench Higgins regardless.
I think it depends.
Or McCoy, I guess.
I think it depends on Amendola and whether or not he plays.
Okay.
I mean, if Amendola plays, I think I would probably play him, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, frankly, I don't love the matchup with Kareem Hunt playing at the Chargers, but I still think that I can't sit him at this point.
Unsittable.
And
you gotta ride that until he
yeah.
Until he has that as well.
Yeah, I do like the James White against Houston matchup. I think that he'll get a lot of points there, especially PPR points, and with all of the injuries to the receivers. I mean, because the other thing about Hogan, getting back to your earlier question, was, I mean, Hogan was playing through an injury too. I think it was like a knee injury that he played through that game, and I just don't know. I mean, they're all banged up. I just don't.
And they sat him actually.
Yeah.
Late in the game.
So I'm kind of worried about those kind of things. I mean, if you have to ask me right now, I probably will play Thompson, but I don't know yet. I'm still waiting this out. So right now he's just a placeholder. I mean, I might play McCoy too, but I just like the matchup with White against Houston, and I don't necessarily like the lineup or the matchup with McCoy against Denver. I think he'll get double digits. I think he'll get like 10 points or something, but I don't think that he's going to get much more than that because Tyrod Taylor has nobody to throw to, and so they'll just line them up all in the box, and they're good enough to do that.
Yeah, I think the much more interesting side of this matchup is the lightning rod.
Yeah. So you have Cam Newton, who's been. Well,
I think you should probably consider starting Joe Mixon over Terrence West.
I think you should also start Dez Bryant over Gillislee.
Over Gillislee.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that if you think a bunch of people are going to be banged up, what New England tends to do then is go 2 tight end set heavy and run the ball 30 times.
Yeah, but Gillislee is. I mean, he only gets his points through touchdowns. Really, I mean, he's not getting.
No, I completely understand. But what I'm saying is, New England's offense is usually pretty balanced.
Yeah.
But there's always like 3 or 4 games where they just shut it down and run the ball 30 times.
Yeah.
And if they have no risk, they might do that.
Would you play Tyreek Hill against the Clippers? I mean, because I think Dez Bryant has to get in there.
I don't know. Like, I guess my point would be like you're looking for high upside plays because you're losing. So, yeah, then Bryant will probably get 15 points, but you're going to lose if he gets 15. You need Gillislee to get 24 because he runs the ball 30 times, gets 3 catches.
Is he listening to this broadcast? He's already substituted Rudolph in for Hooper.
I know. I saw that.
I mean,
Well, I know all about Gillislee getting 20-plus points on 14 games.
Exactly. So I think it's gonna be one of those games.
But who were you saying about?
You're gonna do that. They're gonna do that thing where they try to run right around J.J. Watt to neutralize the pass rush.
Right, but then
that's the only good thing on Houston's defense, and they're gonna run the ball a bunch of times and try to tire out J.J. Watt and Clowney, and they're gonna throw the ball very infrequently so that they don't have to expose their wideouts that aren't playing very well, and they're gonna grind out the game, and it's gonna be 24-7 or 10.
Sure, but then don't you put Gillislee in for Terrence West instead, and then maybe move Dez Bryant into the flex?
That's fair. That might be the better play.
Yeah. Because I think
Joe Mixon, there'll probably be a lot of points out there for Joe Mixon, that's all.
You think? I don't think so. Mixon? Come on.
Oh, yeah. They're gonna throw a lot, and they're gonna be behind by a bunch. And they're gonna have to stop playing Gio Bernard because it sucks, and Joe Mixon will get a lot of play.
I don't think so.
The safer bet is probably to start.
Yeah, I think you play Gillislee in the running back position. I mean, obviously Ajayi against the Jets, you play him. And then you put Des Bryant into the flex, and you play Tyreek Hill. I mean, he should have a bounce-back game. Martavius Bryant at Chicago is a smart play. Cam Newton, I mean, he's banged up, but I think he has a good game against New Orleans. And, you see where it goes from there.
The only problem is Cam Newton's biggest problem isn't that he can't place the ball well against receivers that are covered. It's that he sails the ball over open receivers' heads, which means it doesn't really matter if players are wide open.
True. But I mean this is New Orleans' first game on the road also, isn't it?
Oh yeah, their offense is stuff too, but I'm just saying, like, that doesn't affect Cam Newton's performance.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I actually think Cam Newton doesn't have that bad.
Then again, you absolutely can't play Mariota, so I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the play. I mean, first of all, if you are playing New Orleans, you play your players. Like, you just do. Like, I mean, I don't care.
Don't not pick the road.
Yeah.
Play your guys.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
I mean, I hate to jinx myself. I'm gonna pick against myself just for the shits and giggles of it. But I'm if I had to actually ask myself, I would pick myself. But I'm
picking a lightning rod. Upset of the week.
You think so? I mean, it's possible. I mean, what do you think about Odell in Philadelphia?
I think Odell will be a deep player. Not ready.
You don't think he's ready?
No.
I mean,
Did you play on Monday night?
I did, and well, I mean, I saw him quote unquote play on Monday night. He was getting roused after every catch he got, which was like 4 of them. But there was a reason why I didn't play him last week. I don't know. I'm actually, I mean, there's so many question marks that are up in the air about this game. I'm not even sure where I necessarily want to go. I really don't.
I think he's gonna lose because I think that Stafford's gonna have a surprisingly bad game.
I don't think so.
And Atlanta's gonna win like 35-10 or something.
I don't think so. I think he had his lowest point total in his career, I think, last week. I think he's going to come back from that. I think he's going to have a good game. I still don't know about Thalian. I don't know about Beckham. I don't know about the New England. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of things up in the air. The only thing that I feel confident about is playing James White. And the Baltimore defense.
So you're going to go head-to-head, James White versus Gillisley.
Yep.
Bold.
I mean, James White got 17 points last week, whereas Gillisley got 12. I think it all comes down to touchdowns. But we'll see.
I agree with that. I'm picking the lightning rod. Upset of the week.
Geese?
Nah, I gotta go with 3 on this one.
Good, as long as I'm not picking the same as Mr. Bad Pick Commish.
All right, well, I guess that does it for all the games. Any other thoughts on the league or what's coming up this week? I think this is a big week. It'll actually start to determine things in this league, and I think we'll really start to see after like week 3. You generally start to see which players are reliable for sure. And I guess we'll see if that Le'Veon Bell for Alex Smith trade goes through.
Yeah, I'll have to say.
Well, I'm sure it has to go through the some of the bureaucratic departments over there at Hackettstown's headquarters.
Yeah, but that's all that's left. It's done and dusted. It's going through. You know what? In fact, I dare the commissioner to veto this trade.
Well, I don't think it's...
See what I did there?
There's nothing to veto.
I know, that's the reason why I said it just like that. I dare the commissioner veto this trade. We will have recall elections.
Well, that would be quite hilarious if he vetoes his own trade, which he doesn't have the power to do anyway. That would be really interesting. I mean, that's something that Dr. Hockey, the man... That's something the madman Dr. Hockey might do.
You heard it here first. I'm running for commissioner. out with Hackettstown. And my first act is going to be to banish Hackettstown from the league.
That's a little extreme.
No, I actually like this commissioner. He needs to lose his job, but House Targaryen is the first one out.
Why? We all need to get our W's.
I'm kicking him out of the league with extreme prejudice. I hope he hears this.
He won't. He won't listen. If he's not in it, he won't listen. All right. Well, I think that's about it for this week. We'll pick it up next week. We'll see how your predictions panned out.
I got 3 of them.
What's the third?
Upset of the week. Lightning Rod.
Oh, okay. We'll put that down on the notepad too.
We should have a new segment, Lock of the Week.
The lock of the week.
So, Lightning Rod's my Lock of the Week. What about you guys?
My lock of the week?
The Lock of the Week.
Let's see.
New segment, Lock of the Week.
My lock of the week would... Ugh. I think that's... I feel dirty saying this, but I think the Millennials against Dave's Secret Crush. if I had to pick one
Lock of the Week. I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, Nick and Jamie versus the Blues is the other one that I would think about, but I think that there's a chance there. I think the Millennials win this game.
What about you, former commish?
Former commish?
You heard me.
That's a bold statement there.
Oh, I think I have 4 predictions this week, actually.
Lock of the week is anybody playing against Dr. Hockey at this point.
Way to go out there on a limb.
That's pretty much a wrap.
So I actually have 5 predictions. The 4th one is that the trade goes through.
So,
and the 5th one is I'll be committed by the end of the year.
So I think all of these things are bode well for me, because that means that you're going to be wrong on all of them, and I'm going to be winning this week based on that. So I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Why would you be wrong? I'm going to be right. It's going to happen. All 5 predictions.
I mean, you did phenomenally last week, let me tell you. So, you know, if your track record has anything to do with it.
All right, just wait till next week. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, with that, I guess that's going to wrap it up. For these 2 characters. And Dr. Hockey, who... That was a long 15 minutes. I mean, that's one of the longest 15 minutes I've ever seen. Anyway, I guess we'll see you next week, everyone. Bye.
Or we'll see you in 15 minutes. Bye. Bye.